Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pedagogy in Practice video. This is episode 2. Now in episode 1 we covered, actually how to bring FlipGrid and integrate it into your Canvas course so that you can use it in assignments. So in this video we're going to cover something a little bit different and we're going to take the next step. In this video we are going to focus on FlipGrid and using the tool in your class more from a pedagogical angle. So in this video we're going to cover a couple of things. First, we're going to talk about transforming the dialogue using FlipGrid, and we're also going to cover some ideas of how you can use FlipGrid in your course. Now, in order to do anything we have in the video, what you're going to need is access to a Canvas course. You're going to need to establish your account at flipgrid.com using your Bakersfield College email address. You're going to need to have a basic understanding of Canvas, and of course, you need to know what our first video covers, which is knowledge of integrating FlipGrid into Canvas. And with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, now one of the first things that we want to cover is exactly how to use FlipGrid in your course and how you can sort of transform the dialogue in using FlipGrid. So what we'd like to do is actually cover some very basic criteria to consider. The first one is, of course, make whatever you're going to have your students post using FlipGrid, make it personal. Make sure that they're able to relate to it and that they can talk about their own experiences. Also, encourage topics that invite comparison and contrast so that they can get into good discussion and learn more from each other as well. We also want to cover topics of importance, so things that are very important to your students, which may sometimes venture out of the subject matter and into areas where it sort of overlaps with pop culture or current events. And as I just stated, you want to make sure that you focus on current topics. When something happens, if you can bring it into your course, by all means use a FlipGrid video to help it do that. And of course, encourage the use of visuals with your students. In using FlipGrid, they're able to put in different pictures, different emojis, all sorts of things. Encourage them to share those images in their FlipGrid posts. And of course, make it social and collaborative. When you're developing a FlipGrid discussion, make sure to reinforce that the students actually need to interact with each other and set 2 due dates. Set one due date for when they're going to post to the initial question, and then also when they need to respond to other people by. Okay, now that we've talked about some baseline criteria that you should consider when setting up a FlipGrid discussion in your class, let's go ahead and cover some ideas for how you can use FlipGrid throughout the rest of the semester. And we're going to start at the very beginning. At the start of a course, you can use a FlipGrid discussion in order to conduct course introductions. Now, course introductions are a great way within the first week or 2 of your class to get your students to know each other in an online environment, for you to get to know them, and also for them to get to know you. It can be a really powerful tool. And you're going to want to utilize that by allowing them to express things that maybe aren't even subject matter related, or maybe things from a personal experience and how they relate to the subject matter, right? They can talk about themselves, they can talk about their interests, and maybe even ways in which they can properly pronounce their names. A lot of really good options there. Now, as the semester continues, there's some other ideas that we have for ongoing uses of FlipGrid. First, you could even use them for student check-ins. Just see how they're doing at various points in the semester. Maybe check in after midterms or as finals approach. At high stress times, see how they're doing. You could also have them reflect after the end of a unit or the end of a chapter and really, hopefully, convey to you what it is that they learned and areas that they know they need to grow from. Now, at some point, major events occur. And it would be really nice that if you can relate that to class or even give them an outlet in your class to share their experience with a major event, you can use FlipGrid for that as well. Bring them into the class, allow them to express their experience with that major event or occurrence in a FlipGrid discussion. Now, a really helpful way is to allow your students to also get a little metacognitive about their learning, and maybe ways in which they can synthesize the content you are teaching them in the subject matter with their lived experience. And you can capture all of that they share and are experiencing and care to share with the rest of the class by using a FlipGrid video. Also, FlipGrid can be a really nice way to allow your students to drive various topics. Set up the FlipGrid and let them determine what it is that they want to talk about. If you found this video interesting about using FlipGrid, I'm also going to direct you to some of these sources that talk a little bit more about how to use FlipGrid in online discussions. Specifically this article, FlipGrid Adding Voice and Video to Online Discussions by Tim Green and Jody Green, and then also a FlipGrid resource. And I will post these links in the description of the video. Have a great one. Pip pip.